Hello everybody, I'm glad you're here today. Today is August 19th, 2026. In this video, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about homeschooling, we're talking about going to extremes, and we're going to read some things out of the Bible. So that's what we're doing in this, and we'll just let the Holy Spirit lead this video. I don't even know how it's going to go. I know that homeschooling doesn't apply to every viewer that looks on this channel, but maybe you have a child, like grandchildren that may need to be homeschooled. You're thinking about it. I do believe grandparents should step into that gap. That's my opinion. It's not always easy, but nothing worth it ever really is easy, right? So I have that opinion. General, not every situation's easy that way. So, I'm not a hardliner on it. I also want to talk about kind of what we talked about yesterday. It feels like we're living in an age of extremes, right? Like everything, every headline: extreme weather, extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme fires, extreme earthquakes, extreme wars, extreme weapons, extreme blah. And it's just like, I don't have enough bandwidth for this. I really don't. My mind cannot do this much. I have to step back often nowadays and just step back and do my simple life. I just have to step away from it, right? And I know y'all do too. But sometimes we are called to be extreme in our choices in order to mitigate the extreme age we're living in. I believe there is extreme evil out there. There is evil out in the world that used to not be there when I was young. When I left home at 18 and went off to college and met my husband, who had also left home at 18, and we met and married when I was 20 and he was 23. When we did that, the world was not like it is now. And I know people, I hear them say it, and honestly, I want to slap them upside the head when they say, oh, it was the same. We just didn't know it as much. No, I don't agree with that in any way, shape, or form. No. So the moral fabric of our society has deteriorated, torn, and is now rotten, in my opinion. So, because of that, what is the saying? Extreme measures, extreme situation call for extreme measures, something like that. Because it is the way it is, we as believers cannot just passively sit on our butts and just not do nothing. We just can't sit here and just go, oh, how I love Jesus, and not do anything. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes we're in situations where we're physically at a spot, mentally at a spot where we can't just jump into the trenches and get going. But sometimes we can, and we have a choice. So some of you in your comments from time to time mention homeschooling. And you're like, can you tell us more about homeschooling? And so I'm going to touch on that in this video, and I'm going to say, this is what I used to think. This is what I used to say when people asked me about homeschooling. I would say, I am for education. No matter how a person gets it, I'm for it. Get all the education, however you get it, wherever you get it from. That's what I'm for. So I know some people who think that homeschooling is the only way to raise your kids. And that if you homeschool, you'll get good kids. And that's not true, because I've seen a lot of homeschool families get rotten kids. And I've seen a lot of public school families have rotten kids. So I'm not sure it's necessarily your education. That the way you educate your kids is the way is a insurance on how your kids are going to turn out. So put that in a box on a shelf, and I don't know exactly what to do with that, but that's what I've observed. So when you ask me about homeschooling now, in this day and age, with the amount of evil that's out there, I would say, heck yeah, homeschool your kids if you can. 100%, absolutely. But you have to do it in a way that's not like a concentration camp, if that makes sense. Always focus on the relationship, not on the academics. Always produce kids. We always said, and I'm going to say a word here that's probably going to offend you, but well, I'll abbreviate it. We always said, Mike and I, we just want to raise kids who aren't a-holes. That was our goal. And thank the good Lord, I think that's what's happened. So I'm glad about that. But we say that just kind of joking. The number one, okay, let me back up. If you are thinking about homeschooling, you need to pray about it. You need to find out what your state laws are, whatever state you're in, and you need to abide by those laws. And you need to just realize it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, those are the things you kind of need to just start with. I would say 100% pull your kids out of school, homeschool them. 100% do that now. That's what I would say, if you can. And if you're a grandparent and you're like, man, my kids want me to homeschool my grandchildren, I'd say, yeah, that'll be the best investment you ever make. That's what I think. Now then, when it comes, let me just insert here. If you are thinking about homeschooling and you'd like to visit with me personally, put it in the comment section. I'd like to visit with you personally, and I'll give you my email, and then we'll go from there. I'll talk to you on the telephone. We can talk on the phone, and for free. Now, I'm not going to charge you nothing. I'll just tell you what I've learned the hard way, right? What I learned is that homeschooling is not school at home. Yes, I started out with this lovely little classroom, lovely little desk, lovely little alphabet on the wall, the American flag, da da da. That lasted for 2 days, and then life happened. And life with your children at home is just life. And then what I learned is that homeschooling is bringing your children along beside you, and they learn real life just by living every day with you. That is true. Now, academics. Yes, you have to cover some academics, but it is not like public school in that you have to spend an hour at this, an hour at this, an hour at that. No. Math, add, subtract, multiply, divide. How to use a calculator. And after that, it's like that. I mean, once you learn that, like in the second grade, it's pretty much that way all the way till seventh grade. So it's just kind of a review every year. Okay, so practice. All right, so yeah, do the bare minimum on math, unless they love it. If they're gifted in it, then you can like do more when they're in high school, right? Reading. Teach them to read. Read to learn to read to learn. That's the goal there. So honestly, teach them to read. The book, I've done a video on it, 100 Easy Lessons. Learn to read in 100 Easy Lessons. And do that book. I know a friend who said I had to go through this book 3 times with my son. He just graduated from homeschooling last May. I mean, he's at 18, so I mean, it was legit. I mean, he wasn't, but I was a proponent of very relaxed because that's how our family is. We were very interest motivated. If my son showed an interest in robotics, then you're going to learn a whole bunch of things, like especially how to read those directions just by getting a robot set and building it. So that's how I rolled. And we didn't keep a school calendar. We didn't go from September to May. We schooled all year round because crap happens during the year, and sometimes you just have to stop and go take care of your parent who's in the hospital having knee surgery, or grandma dies and you got to go to that funeral. And so those things happen. School gets put on the back burner, and you just think, hey, we got the summer. If you're inclined to cover everything in the workbook, you got the summer. You just don't worry. We didn't even think about grades. Like, what grade are you in? What, it doesn't matter. Who decided that? So I wasn't big into grades. If we went to out in public, like to a family gathering or something where people are going to go, what grade are you in, honey? I would coach my kids. You need to tell them you're in the third grade. And because that's probably, I bet you're about in, I don't know. I bet you're in that grade. You look like you're in that grade. That's kind of how I ran school. And if you wonder, did that work? Yes, it worked. If you like to measure by academics, if homeschooling worked, and especially that way. And honestly, by the time my daughter was both my daughter and son were in high school, it was teach yourself. If you can't learn yourself, then there's something wrong with you. I mean, and maybe there is. I mean, there are special needs children, right? I had my oldest was special needs, but so I understand that realm also. But uh, yeah, so it doesn't take rocket science, all right? When people go, oh, it's so hard. No, no, it's not hard, especially now. When I didn't have internet school, except at the very end when my son was in high school. We did a lot of stuff. I think we did Excelis, I think is what it was called, which was watch a video, answer a quiz, watch a video, answer a quiz, and go through the course that way. It was $25 a month for like 6 classes. Yeah. And then when we were done with high school, I filled out um, their transcript based on what classes they took throughout high school, what grade I thought they got with it, and we called it good, you know. My son, I was like, he was 17, he would have been a junior. I let him take a practice GED test. Like, dude, if you do good on this, we don't have to worry too much about academics, because he's not an academically minded person. He's more of a hands-on person. So yeah, he did great on it. so so I was like, let's get you a job and you'll learn a lot working. And he did at the nursing home. Yes, he did learn a lot working there. So that's how we did school. My daughter, once again, going back, if you want to measure, she loved science. So we did apologia science. We had to buy textbooks. I had to buy the textbooks, review the textbooks. I promise you, I never gave them a test in my life. I never tested either one of my children. I don't like tests. I think they're stupid. But that's just me. I live in the state of Texas, so I didn't have to do that. If you live where your kids have to take a test, then you just got to mitigate that as best you can. But man, I didn't. And so when my daughter, who liked the idea of science, she was very ducks in a row, is still type A personality, wanted a graduation, wanted to graduate, wanted to go to college, knew what she was going to graduate in, and she had it all down. And that was early, like she graduated in 2012. So back then, college was just beginning to turn very liberal. Thank God she got in and out of the college campus. It was a Christian campus, even at that, and did was not and still still kept her soul basically. So she did was accepted. She took an ACT. Never taken a standardized test. Took the ACT test or SAT. She passed. She did great. She got scholarships and went on to college, graduated, got her first bachelor's, and graduated with honors. And then she went to nursing school, and then she graduated from that. Then she got her bachelor's in nursing. Come on. Yeah, so I mean, but that's her personality. That's her personality. Now, and that was a different time. So fast forward 10 years when my son graduated, a very, very much an introvert, did not want a graduation ceremony, just wanted it to be the family, just wanted to eat the meal he wanted to eat, his favorite meal. We celebrated, gave him a diploma. And honestly, in the state of Texas, homeschooling is considered a private school. So I recently had someone ask me, is it even legit when you get a homeschool diploma? Yeah, and see, yeah, it's legit. The transcript is probably what matters if you're going to a college. But nowadays, you can even do college online and they don't even ask for a transcript. You just are enrolled and start taking classes. Thomas Edison University is that a way. So, and then there's several others. That's the one my son is fixing to enroll in after he gets done with some of his gen ed classes. But he is only doing college classes right now because he is in a time in his life where he doesn't know what else he wants to do. So it's like, yeah, well, let's work on a degree here at home. Okay, that sounds good. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like social situations. He likes social situations with people he knows, where he knows what to expect. It's his personality. So we roll that way. It's okay. It's okay. But when it comes to the way the world is now and bringing your young adult children home or letting them stay at home, I highly, highly, highly recommend that in the realm of Christianity especially. If you can combine your resources, you're going to be better off in this economy and what's coming. It's not going to get better, gang. So there is that. But also, when you homeschool, I believe I approached it as better late than early. So I wasn't one that wanted my 4-year-old to start reading. Mm-mm. If they did, great. But I wasn't. I didn't push that. I wasn't one that was rigid in our schedule. No way. I no. I wasn't one that made them have to achieve so that my friends would know I was legit teaching them at home. I didn't care what my friends thought. I don't. I still don't. So I know that a lot of homeschool families want to be validated by what their kids achieve. I would encourage you not to fall into that trap. Your kids are going to be basically your kids are going to turn out like you. That I honestly, after all these years, I'm 60 years old. After watching people come and go in my life, your kids pretty much going to turn out just the way you are. So you look in the mirror. If you wonder, well, how my kids going to turn out, go look in the mirror. It's about how they'll be. That's about how they'll be. So, but going back to relationship, it is relationship with Christ and relationship with others that is the most important thing to teach your children. And I do not have the opinion anymore that that can be accomplished at public school. That's my opinion. And that's after being a teacher in public school. And that's after watching what public school produces. Not that homeschool does it better, but homeschool families who are really, really level, normal. Sometimes homeschoolers put off an energy, a social energy that's like, I could tell you were a homeschooler from across the room, dude. You were so weird. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay too. But at the same time, just keep it real. Keep it real. And like I said, I've seen it all. I promise you, I think I've seen it all. And that's disturbing. I wish I hadn't seen it all. I'm close to families who really miss the boat, really miss the boat. And it's so tragic. What they invested, what their intentions were, and then the fruit, there was just something not right there. And who am I to step into that home and know? I don't know. I don't know everything that went on in those walls of that house. But I can see the fruit, and it's just like, I don't know. So don't think it's the magic pill that's going to fix your kids. Jesus fixes your kids. So that's the most important thing. So I kept it simple. I kept it easy. I wanted them to be successful people and feel good about themselves, but mainly I wanted them to know their value came from being a child of God. And our value comes from being a child of God. And so I'd like to read this because I think it really sums up what's going on and how to proceed as believers in Jesus. 1 John chapter 5 verse 19. We know that we are children of God and that the world around us is under the control of the evil one. And we know that the Son of God has come, and he has given us understanding so that we can know the true God. And now we live in fellowship with the true God because we live in fellowship with his Son, Jesus Christ. He is the only true God, and he is eternal life. Dear children, keep away from anything that might take God's place in your heart. Whatever you do, if you approach with that, you're going to probably turn out, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Hanging on to Jesus Christ, knowing you're a child of God. So, once again, I've gone along this, I don't even care. If you are wondering if you should homeschool, put it in the comment section. I will read it, and I will give you my email, and you can email me. And then we can set up a phone talk or not. I don't care. It's whatever you want to do. Like I say, I don't charge people for this. I've done it, I don't know, dare I say hundreds of times? Probably. Probably. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that with you. We're living in extreme times. It is time to take extreme measures in how we're going to get through all of this. Knowing Jesus Christ and committing your life to him extremely, all of your life, is a good first step. He loves you very much. I'm going to leave that with y'all. Stay safe, America. From the pantry, this is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.